Good morning, everybody. It's Rick. It is Tuesday, March the 13th, 2018. If you'd like to reach me, my email is rick0327@me.com. The email's been great lately. No long stories. Just people that are interested in getting the paperwork. Okay. Again, I do not work personally with you. Okay. For legal reasons, I cannot. But I provide a lot of paperwork. Okay. Trust me. The usual response I get from people is, "Wow, that's a lot of paperwork." And then, of course, panic sets in, and there's no reason for it. Okay. I send one of the first emails I send you is an instructions email for each, for all the packets, okay? And, what's happened, in over a year is whenever I create a new document or I update another one, I keep it in there. So over a year, I've amassed a lot of documents. Okay, I mean, you guys get a lot of stuff, and I don't have anything really for divorce people getting divorced, but I do have a Declaration of Rights, and it's very well written because it's what the states have done. These state courts is they know that divorce is a money-making scam for the lawyers and probably the judges. They probably got some secret deals, who the hell knows, and the state. So what they do is, you're getting divorced and they treat you like you're a criminal, and like the judge will issue the divorce judgment and tell you got to pay support through child support services, all these things. The judge has absolutely no right doing any of that. You're getting divorced. All a divorce is a separation. It's like a company, really. Let's say you started up a company with a friend, right? And you had the company, and over 10 years, you guys have bought a couple of buildings, all of these things. A divorce is the same thing, and then you just got to figure out who's going to get what. Now, if you have a business, you see, a judge would never dare say, all right, well, partner A is going to get this, 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 and this, and partner B is, because let's say partner A is a woman and partner B is a man in a business relationship, a judge would never, ever in a million years say, all right, partner B, because you're a man, you're only going to get this, and you're only going to get that. Oh, and by the way, you're going to have to pay her, because that's discrimination. Okay? But in divorce, because all it is contract law. Most law is contract law. You understand? You need two, it takes two to tango, right? So what they do is, in a divorce, they'll, the lawyers are rolling on it, sadly, okay? The lawyer won't tell you this, but they already know that, okay, what we're going to do with the state judge knows that it's good for the state if he pays child support through the child support collection services. And the claim that they use is, well, then she can never say, or he can never say that you didn't pay child support, and there's a record, and they don't want you back in court again down the road if she's claiming you're not paying. It's all bullshit. It's all to get at your income. You understand? And when you get divorced, there's the divorce agreement, and then there's a stipulation of settlement agreement. Everything that's in that stipulation of settlement agreement are negotiated terms. That means that they're not by law, you're not obligated by law to do it. They want you to think you have to. So here's the thing. All of you out there who are divorced and you have an agreement, that agreement is a contract. And there's a boatload of case law in every state. All you got to do is keyword enforcement of stipulation of settlement agreement. And all this will come up. In New York, we have there's one called Rainbow versus Swisher, which is that the courts favor agreements. They want you to bring an agreement. Say, look, we have an agreement, and it's like the court has to go by the agreement. Okay, but except in divorce and child support, it's especially if you have it in the agreement that they're not going to take the money out of your check by income withholding. They're going to make you. They did that with me. They want you to believe that the judge can just change it. They cannot. Okay? Stipulation of settlement agreements are binding. That means they cannot be altered unless it was found that it was the agreement was made based on fraud, duress, like, somebody forced you to do it, or fraud. Okay? Fraud, mistake of law, and duress. If there's none of those, and by the way, the petitioner has to prove those things. So in order for a stipulation of settlement agreement, listen to me, all the guys out there's a lot of you out there, so pay attention here. If you have a marriage agreement, and let's say you have a marriage agreement where they screwed you and the judge, told you had to pay through child support services, they cannot just every 3 years increase your child support. They cannot, because you already have it in the agreement. They cannot alter that agreement. Okay? So for the reasons I just told you, it has to be a mistake of law, fraud, or duress, or some, they call it a unreasonable and what is it called? It's like unreasonable change of circumstances. Like, God forbid you had like a severe medical issue that, you something like that. But even then they can't change it. Okay? So the way to go about that is it's called, you can file a petition in the court that issued your divorce. It's called enforcement of stipulation of settlement agreement. And the court that issued the order is supposed to enforce it. And by the way, they even have this in the child support attorneys chapters. There's like 1 through 12, okay? And I have them, and it's in the chapter 11, modification. It says that the court that issued the divorce agreement is the court of jurisdiction. You understand? So that means a family court type court, domestic relations court, they don't have, if the divorce agreement did not come from there, they have absolutely no jurisdiction to even open it and read it. Okay? But they've been getting away with it because lawyers will never argue these things. Okay? So that's one thing. All right? So let me change subjects now. All right? I had a guy the other day reach out to me, and he had a child support order issued 2005, and it's issued by a magistrate. Okay? Now this is what I want you guys to pay attention. You gotta, it's really not hard. I try and simplify it for you guys. A non-judicial person, a person, not a judge. Coram non judice. Coram non judice is a Latin term for that. Okay? No lawyer is called that. You're not going to see next to a lawyer's name, John Smith, coram non judice. You understand? It's a Latin phrase. Okay? Like pro se. It's a Latin phrase for a person, not a judge. Okay? So, any support order issued by a person, not a judge, is void. Remember I told you guys in a video a couple weeks ago, 99.9% support orders are void. All right, I can't make it any simpler for you guys. As soon as you look at your order and it's not signed by a judge, it's void. It's void. It's a violation of the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Okay? The 14th Amendment is a constitutional right. So it's a right against any deprivation of property, life, liberty, or property without due process of law. The courts are supposed to provide you equal protection of law. That means they're supposed to treat you impartially. But if the support magistrate, commissioner, magistrate, friend of the court, any one of these pretenders, they are not impartial because they are being paid to force you to pay child support. Every order that they issue causes the state to receive federal funds. And then 66.6% of those federal funds pays their salary. So that means that they're not impartial. That's a violation of equal protection law of the 14th Amendment. Really simple. So theoretically, you should be able to take that support order and bring it to a federal court and claim that your rights are violated, your 14th Amendment right. But here's the trickery part now. That's why I said theoretically. There's this protection in the state courts that was given by these federal judges. All right? It's called the Rooker-Feldman Doctrine. And what they claim is, and this is where these judges pull these maneuvers, like there's a whistleblower out there, some woman named, I think it's Diane McDaniel, and she said there's a book out there called The 29 Tricks That Judges Use, which is, to me, if a judge is using a trick, it's called fraud. Anyway, what they do is, when you file in federal court that your rights are violated in the state court, they claim that you're trying to re-argue the case in federal court. And the federal courts, under the Rooker-Feldman Doctrine, are not appellate courts. You cannot re-argue a case in federal court. So the scam that they use is when you introduce the order, they claim that you're trying to re-argue it. They did that with me. And I wrote very specific words. I am not trying to re-argue, but they still did it to me anyway. So that's why it's not that easy. All right, these federal judges, they're out of control. All right, Trump was talking about it. I told you guys, I got Tucker Carlson. They're waking up. People are waking up in this country. Who knows? Maybe we might get lucky. A year from now, things might change. Okay, but here's the thing. We talked about the other day judicial immunity. Okay, a judge, I said they have to have jurisdiction, right? I'll even take another step further. Judges are only immune when they're acting under Article 3 of the Constitution. Okay? And when a federal judge is acting under Article 3 of the United States Constitution, that's where they get their lifetime appointment. Okay? Federal judges are appointed for life. And if they're acting outside of Article 3, they are acting without jurisdiction. And they're no longer acting in what's called good behavior. So that's why it's important to know these things, because all of these things could be put in an order. All right, so let's say you want to go to federal court, okay, and you're aware of the Rooker-Feldman Doctrine. Okay? The way I would go about it is, well, the court must recognize that the evidence of a state judgment being issued is under no circumstances being the undersigned is re-arguing this. It is evidence as proof that it's a void judgment rendered by a person, not a judge, and in which the Supreme Court, the court of last resort, of final authority, the highest court on the land, whose prescriptions are law, held that it's a violation of due process clause of the 14th Amendment. Okay? Then you throw in there that the federal judge must understand that the federal judge is not acting in good behavior when he or she is not acting under Article 3 of the United States Constitution, for which they're bound by under the Supremacy Clause. To that effect. Okay? So, and that's how we get around these things. I told you guys, I believe that that's what helped getting my case vacated, because the judge read my paperwork. Okay? They knew that they dodged a bullet because the federal judge protected them. Here's what the federal judge in my case did. I probably shouldn't say because they watch my videos, but I'll do it for you guys. Okay? The federal judge claimed that the court lacked jurisdiction under the Rooker-Feldman doctrine. And while the court lacked jurisdiction, because she hung herself, she gave the fake judge, the lawyer, my pension, and the retired family court judge, she gave them all judicial immunity while not having jurisdiction. So if a court lacks jurisdiction, where does a federal judge get the authority to give all of the three defendants judicial immunity? A lawyer for my pension is not doing any adjudicating whatsoever. How is he judicially immune? He's not. A fake judge who is a non-judicial person, who's defined as a non-judicial court employee under New York State Trial Court Rules 205.32, how is she judicially immune if she's not a judicial person? And then lastly, family court judge who never witnessed a statement, never examined any evidence in her courtroom, ordered the retroactive alteration of my stipulation of settlement agreement. And in the New York State Constitution, under Article 6, Section 13, it defines their powers, and a family court judge does not have any power in law and equity. You understand? Because family court is a court of limited jurisdiction of specialized court. And the federal judge who claimed in one sentence that the federal court lacked jurisdiction to hear the case, then in the next paragraph, as acting as a god, waved her hand over the three of their heads and said, "I do hereby pledge that you are all judicially immune." Okay? Which makes it hard for me, because if I was to take the case further, because I see how they think, a few moves ahead, like chess, they're going to claim in the state courts, well, the federal judge so-and-so claimed that they're judicially immune when they're not. So, I got my hands tied with that. But there's a way around it. But, I'm just giving you guys examples of the trickery that's done by these people. I believe, in my opinion, that instead of worrying about the country worrying about building a wall on illegal aliens and all that shit, Donald Trump and his administration, because Donald Trump was just a victim of judicial fraud in the FISA court by these federal judges. Okay? They just exonerated him yesterday, basically, claiming that there's no evidence of collusion. 14 months of this guy getting beat up in the media, and it turns out that he never colluded with anybody. You understand? This guy's life was, but he's from Queens like me. We don't take shit, okay? Guys like me, we come from Queens. Yeah, the guys in Brooklyn are supposed to be tough guys. The guys in the Bronx are supposed to be tough guys. So guys like us in Queens, we're in the middle. So we have a little chip on our shoulder. But we don't take shit. And Donald Trump is a Queens guy. Okay? He doesn't take any shit. And neither do I. Okay? And neither do you, because you're watching my channel. You guys are honorary Queens guys. All right? So, I believe that they're talking about it. They're talking about getting a special counsel to investigate these FISA judges, because they're bypassing due process and they're using these FISA warrants, claiming you have to be a foreign agent, a foreign person, for them to get a FISA warrant. It's why it's a secret. And they use that collusion thing as a reason by claiming Trump is colluding with the Russians. That's a reason to get a warrant to, to go after Trump by, investigating him. Last year, he came out and said that, Donald Trump, Donald Trump is spying on him, and everybody laughed at him. They did this and did that, because he was warned by the Admiral, what's his name? Anyway, the Admiral that works in the NSA, a hero, okay, and warned Donald Trump, and Donald Trump moved his operations out of his hotel and moved it somewhere else because the place was bugged. But if they're doing that to the President of the United States, who are you and I? That's why we got to take it, we got to really know our stuff. Okay? And listen, in the wording, you can't be afraid to call them out. That's what happened with me. If you watch my video, I'm not going at this woman. I'm like, you're fake, whatever. Like, you have no power. You got zero power over me. None. Zero. Zilch. And, they were afraid of me. I heard stories of her, like she's threatening to arrest people. Not with me. She never did that with me. I wanted to be arrested at one point. Yeah, I said, arrest me. And they wouldn't do it. All right. Hey, listen, ending this video. I should have led the video with this, but if you made it this far, I had another success story. My man Lionel went to court, and the judge basically dismissed the case for because the prosecutor, petitioner, lack of service. They don't want to say it's no jurisdiction because then he can sue them. But anyway, and he has another court hearing in June, but it's looking good. Like the fake judge says, I don't see, I can't see you coming up with a defense. She gave them another 3 months, which she shouldn't have done, but it doesn't matter. They did the same thing to me, okay? They vacated the order, they stayed the order, and 3 months later they vacated it. So he's going in the right direction. To me, it's another success story. He said that everybody there knows who he is. They treat him with respect. The court people, like one of the bailiffs, saw him in the food court and gave him a thumbs up that he did good. So they respect him. So if you do your research and you know the law, and listen, he's been dealing with me for over a year now, Lionel, but he never gave up. Never, ever gave up, this guy. Yeah. All right? And he's proof that if you don't give up and you just keep fighting, you can prevail. Okay? It's not easy, but he never gave up. He kept chugging away. And what I loved about him, he'd ask me things, and then I tell him, and he went and figured it out on his own. Okay? All right, guys, I'm sitting in traffic here. I had to go drive a friend to the airport. I'll talk to you guys later.